YouTube live stream. What is going on, guys? I hope everybody is doing well. Going to be a pretty fun live stream today because I'm actually going to be able to show you what I am talking about. So many times when I am talking about a new thing that I'm getting into the channel here on the YouTube live streams, I cannot show that thing that I'm getting because unfortunately in YouTube lives I cannot handle or show firearms, which is a little frustrating. As always, let me know if the audio is coming through properly. A few live streams ago we had a little bit of an audio problem, some technical difficulties, so whoever is chiming in now, if you would, let me know in the little live chat thing that at least you can hear me. It sounds good. Lighting looks good. As always, that really helps me out. Guys, if you're looking to catch up on other content that is firearm freedom, you can catch up with that content on the links in the description. And those links will take you to the Firearm Freedom Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram account. We have a lot of content coming out on there. We also have twice-a-week live streams on Instagram. So there are 3 total live streams every single week, and those 2 are on Instagram, and the kind of big feature-length live stream is here on YouTube, which is always pretty cool. If you're looking for more like grungy, just raw, straight-to-the-point live streams, that's going to be over on Instagram. And what is constantly growing right now is the Firearm Freedom Discord server. The FF Discord server is growing like crazy. We are actually a little bit away from 100 members in the Discord server, which is pretty insane. It is growing weekly now and getting crazier every single week. So I love my Discord family. You guys are always awesome and just a wild bunch. So I hope everybody is doing well that's tuning in, and I hope everybody, like I said, can hear me properly and everything like that. You never know with YouTube live streams. Sometimes they get a little bit sketchy with technical issues and everything like that. We also just started 2 weeks ago now. Nate, what is up? So far, so good. Awesome. Thank you for letting me know. So we just started also on the FF Discord a book club. Those of you that are Discord members that watch these live streams will know what the book club is. You guys are awesome, and a lot of you are also members of the book club, which is pretty cool. Nothing crazy in the book club. It's just a way to motivate us to actually read more and be accountable for what we read. We meet every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to discuss the chapters that we've read in the week prior. Definitely takes the theme of the banned book list for everything that we read in the book club, and so far it has been an incredible success. You guys really enjoy it, and I would definitely recommend checking that out if you're looking to read more and everything like that. So links down below after this live stream is over. We're right at about 4 minutes right now, so I would imagine a lot of you guys that are in are, you know, ready and ready to hear the information that we are going to be talking about in tonight's live, and that is the very first step into night vision, which is my hard-headed veterans ballistic Gen 2 helmet. Man, night vision, what a topic, and I won't lie to you guys, it's a topic that over the many years that I've been in this now, and the many years that I've been in the YouTube firearm game, it was a topic that I never thought I would be talking about. Reason being is because I always heard night vision, and I immediately heard just cost prohibiting and not possible for somebody like me to get into. I do not make a lot of money, and almost all the money that I make, you know, I work a full-time job at a gun shop aside from here, and pretty much all the money that I make goes into either mortgage payments or it goes into you know, guns and accessories and stuff like that for the channel. So for me, looking at night vision binoculars and different things just didn't even come onto my radar, because when I heard night vision, I just heard like $4,000 to $5,000, $6,000 for setups and everything like that. And it is definitely rough for a lot of people. But more recently, I have been given the opportunity to step into the night vision world with a PVS 14. I'm actually going to be working with ATN, and hopefully ATN relatively soon will be sending in a PVS 14 Gen 3 white phosphorus to check out. I'm going to try to, I have a couple buddies out there that have a bunch of different night vision generations and options and different things like that. So hopefully you guys will be able to see a wide variety of different generations. And really the whole goal that I have behind getting into night vision here on Firearm Freedom, whenever I get into night vision, because God knows when everything will finally arrive, but is to give it more of a 101 basic introduction to essentially the common man's night vision. What do you have to have? What do you not have to have? And how much do you really have to spend in order to get into night vision? And ultimately, is it going to be practical for you? For most people out there, any form of night vision is pretty much just LARPing around the house. And that's about it. Basically using it for to look cool and flex on Instagram on your friends and everything like that. Most people out there don't even have a place to use night vision at night to actually train and practice shooting, nor do they have classes in the area that are night vision classes. It's very rare that you find classes that also shoot at night and train in night vision and tactics in night vision and everything like that. But there are some practical uses to night vision. Because I do not have my PVS 14 yet, I will be limited as far as what I'm going to show you with this helmet. But I did want to touch on the hard-headed veterans helmet just a little bit. I will be doing a full feature-length review, tabletop review of this helmet, so definitely stay tuned for that. It'll be much more well-edited and obviously shooting footage at the range and everything like that. But this is their ballistic helmet. It's not their bump helmet, obviously. They offer 3 different types of helmets. They offer more of a standard, kind of what you think of as the typical military helmet that is not high cut. It has the sides coming out. I forget the name at the moment of that helmet. They have their ballistic helmet that is high cut, and it's the Generation 2, meaning it has MLock here instead of the older arc rails. And then they also have a helmet that looks very similar to the ballistic helmet, but it is their bump helmet. So essentially, that just protects you from some falls and different things like that. A bullet of any type will zip right through it. It is not any sort of bulletproof, so keep that in mind, but it is much more cost effective and much lighter, which we're going to talk about in a second with the hard-headed veterans ballistic helmet. These helmets are not cheap. They come in at around $503. I am not hooked up with hard-headed veterans or anything like that, but I do want to give them a shout out for having some of the best customer service that I've experienced recently. With all this craziness going on right now, whoever runs their Instagram account on the hard-headed veterans Instagram account, awesome person, helped me out so much during the process with questions that I had and when restocks were going to be and everything like that. They definitely did not have to help me out there and let me know about restocks and everything like that, but they're super friendly. I even got a handwritten card in the mail like a week after I received my helmet saying, hey, thank you for purchasing from hard-headed veterans. Thank you for letting us be your protector or something like that, which I just thought that was super cool. It's a large company, so the fact that they actually take the time to handwrite a letter is cool. And I paid full retail for this. $503 flat is what it came to with shipping. The multicam option, which is what you see here, the standard multicam, is coming in at $495, and the solid colors are coming in at like $485. This is not going to come with any sort of Earpro or anything like that attached to the helmet. It's just going to come with the helmet itself, and that is it. It also comes with padding on the inside, these little inner pads that you can put in and size to your head specifically. It has been very, very difficult to catch these helmets in stock. For a lot of the time, hard-headed veterans has had a lead Oh, I'm like choking on my on my own gum here. Oh, not great, not great. But Hard-Headed Veterans has had a lead time of roughly like 8 to 12 weeks. And more recently, they've been catching up on back orders. So this was in stock when I ordered it. It still took about 3 weeks to actually ship to my house and arrive. And luckily, they don't use the Postal Service. It shipped UPS, and it shipped just fine. Why did I get a helmet like this to run night vision? Well, when you're running night vision, most PVS-14 binoculars will come with a skull crusher mount in the box, and that is essentially just a plastic little piece here that's almost like a halo, like if you broke your neck or something, and the PVS-14 sticks to that mount, goes down in front of your eye, obviously, and then it has a chin strap going underneath. Those work. Can you just use the PVS-14 with that standard skull crusher in the box? Yes, you don't have to spend an extra $500 for a helmet. But with that being said, it is far more comfortable to run night vision on a helmet setup like this than it is on a skull crusher out-of-box mount like that. Now, you also don't have to go with a big, bulky, heavy ballistic helmet like this. There are many other options that are more cost-effective and also arguably more comfortable. A lot of those options would be like the skull or the nightcap from, I think it's TNVC or somebody like that makes the nightcap. To be honest with you, I can't remember, but it is essentially just like a mesh, a skull cap really that goes over the top of your head, and you can mount the PVS-14 directly to that. It's like 60 bucks, works really well, and I know a lot of my buddies have used those and have really enjoyed them, especially for the lightweight ability that it has and how cost effective it is to get it and run it with your PVS-14. Bump helmets are also going to be incredibly popular, and to be honest with you, I think I would recommend a bump helmet over their ballistic helmet. The ballistic helmet gives you kind of that cool guy Instagram or social media feel that you now have a ballistic helmet that's like a fast helmet and everything like that, and that's all great. And I do think there are definitely some uses to a ballistic helmet, like being able to protect your head against bullets up to 44 Magnum and everything like that, which is, pretty cool. But with that being said, for most people in the civilian world, a standard bump helmet is actually going to be a lot more comfortable. It is nowhere near as heavy as this ballistic helmet is. Now this, Cry Precision, that's who makes the nightcaps. Thank you, Sam. Cry Precision makes the little mesh nightcap that you can wear with your PVS-14. But with this helmet, it comes in at around 3 pounds with no accessories whatsoever. Once you add the accessories, once you add the PVS-14, there is a lot of weight to this helmet, and 3 pounds, although, as you're watching on the screen, doesn't seem like that much weight, it really does stack up quickly when it's on top of your head. And what you feel it with the most is turning your head to make quick movements. So if something's going on over here and you want to turn, it's slowly turning. It feels kind of weird. It's tough to explain, but you definitely notice a slowdown of your movements turning side to side with all the stuff on this helmet. So that is something to be aware of when you're going with the ballistic helmet, and also with the bump helmet for wearing it for long periods of time. That lightweight and good airflow through the helmet really does make it a lot more comfortable for a lot of people. And although it doesn't have the ballistic protection, it's about right now on sale at Hard-Headed Veterans website for like 199 bucks right now. So if you were looking for a helmet and you're like, oh man, I don't have $500 to spend, you could get the Hard-Headed Veterans Ballistic for $199 shipped. It's probably like $205, and that's going to accomplish anything that this helmet's going to accomplish and be lighter and a little bit more comfortable in the process. So it would be a good idea, if you have a lot of money to throw around, to have a ballistic helmet for those times where you might need a ballistic helmet. And then it also would be nice to have a bump helmet that if you're just running around at the range, you're more concerned about comfort and not ballistic protection for that specific day, then the bump helmet would probably be a little bit of a better choice. With these helmets, the Generation 2 helmets have MLock sections on the side instead of the arc rail. This is really nice, and I think it will be even nicer in the future. Right now, there's not many options for mounting headsets to the actual Man, I keep saying a lot in this live stream. I hate that. That's such a pet peeve of mine. I'm going to try for the rest of this live stream to not say So, no, I'm just kidding. So with these with these rails on the side, there are not that many headset mounts that are capable with MLock yet. There are a couple out there, but there's not that many. In the future, as helmet technology advances and you start seeing a lot more companies go with this MLock on the side, even Team Wendy helmets, they don't really have MLock. They have their specific Team Wendy mounting system. So with more helmets going to MLock in the future, I think you will see many more headset mounting options for those MLock slots moving forward. Now, the other nice thing about the MLock slots is if you want to mount a Picatinny rail to the side, you can just grab a little Magpul Picatinny rail piece and mount it right there to mount an IR light, to mount any of these other things, and it is going to be really nice for that. I have mounted right now using a Unity Tactical mount MLock mounting system, and I have mounted in here Impact Howard lights. So these are like the poverty pony of Earpro when it comes to night vision. Many people out there use these, or I shouldn't say night vision, when it comes to helmets, right? Many guys run the cool guy, high-speed Earpro like Comtax or Sordens or something else like that on a helmet. I am the everyday person, and I don't need communications for 99.9999% of the time that I'm at the range. So the Howard lights are going to work just fine for me. With that being said, I can definitely see why people spend the money on Comtax or Sordens or something else when you are running it on a helmet. You can modify Howard lights to work with something like the Unity Tactical mounts by simply cutting off the headsets from the headset mount that comes from the factory with the Howard lights. And you just simply stick them right into the Unity Tactical mounts. With that being said, you are sacrificing a little bit here. And what you're mainly sacrificing is with the wire on the Howard lights. It's designed to be on a standard little headband over the top of your head. It is not designed to go in the back of a helmet. So what you run into with this design is it's not really fitting perfectly no matter what. You can run it as the headset is down and tuck it right underneath the padding, so that way it's totally out of the way. And when it's on your head and you have the headset on your ears, it runs fine. But with these Unity Tactical mounts, you can actually lift the Earpro up, and as I'm popping it out of place, because that is the other downfall of the Unity Tactical and the Howard light mount, you can run the Earpro by lifting it up and over on the back of the helmet. And what you're going to run into constantly with that wonderful noise, and this is a perfect example of why this does not work well, is this. So you'll notice that what's going on here and why the Unity Tactical mount keeps popping out is the cord gets stuck under the helmet. So as you're rotating, you can see there the cord is pulling, and it wants to pull the Earpro right off of the Unity Tactical mount. Now when the Earpro wire is on the outside of the helmet, and give me 1 second here to get it all locked back into place and show you guys. When the wire is on the outside of the helmet, like this here, and you go to try to move the Earpro back, it's going to move back perfectly because the wire is not keeping it out of place. So you kind of have to run the wire on the outside. I'm planning on getting either a counterweight in the back or some Velcro or something like that to have the wire locked into place and just run it on the outside of the helmet. But these are things that you're going to run into, like as you guys just saw there with the Earpro constantly popping out of the helmet, or the helmet mount from Unity Tactical. You're going to notice the downfalls of the Howard lights. Can it be done with $40 Earpro? Yes, it can be, and it can successfully be run on a helmet. But you are going to have a much easier time with Comtax or something like that in this setup because that's what it's really designed for. I'm going to continue to run this helmet as you see here until it doesn't work anymore. But I'll be honest with you guys, I would say probably the biggest like comfort thing when it comes to Earpro on a helmet is just running earplugs. I think that minus the extra money you're paying for mounts, minus the extra money you're paying for the electronic Earpro, as cool as it looks running it on a high-speed helmet or whatever, I think more practically, and what you could use to more easily get a cheek weld on a rifle is just putting some earbuds in your ear and calling it a day. But this is very practical in the fact that now you have an electronic hearing protection that's going to allow you to hear things and amplify your hearing and also muffle gunshots. So we all know the benefits of Electronic Hearing Pro, obviously, at this point. When it comes to these Howard lights, I also switched to gel pads on the inside. These are 18 bucks. You can find them online. And this is a super good upgrade. The gel pads that I had in here from the factory were like hard as rocks. They had no sound protection whatsoever, and that's why I stopped using these Howard lights for quite some time. I got these gel pads in, and they are solid. I learned already from a buddy that you want to actually store your helmet in this position here. You don't want to lift the Earpro up and keep them in the back position when you store your helmet, because essentially, oof, I'm burping on you. Sorry about that. Gotta love these live streams. Essentially, what you're going to do is press down this gel padding right here, and that's going to ruin it over time. So what ends up happening is it squishes it down really, really tough. You almost feel like you're snapping this Unity tactical mount just off when you're pulling the Earpro back. And that's going to put a lot of pressure where you don't want it on your Earpro. So it's important that when you're storing your helmet, you go ahead and store it with the Earpro down in that position. It is not super easy to get on the helmet with the Earpro in that position, but it can be done. I will try to not make a fool of myself here and do this live on camera. So when you're putting on the helmet and you put on the Earpro, get it situated, turn up the volume on your electronic Earpro and clip it into place. It locks up pretty good. What you're going to see constantly with Electronic Earpro and the Howard lights or something like that is you'll have a little bit of a gap underneath. So when I'm normally wearing Howard lights and I have the standard headset on the Howard Light Earpro, I'm able to lift the Earpro up just a little bit to fully seal on my ears and get a good seal. Now right now, if I turn the sound off completely, that's going to be a good way to test how good your seal is. And I can hear myself here in the room talking, and I definitely have an okay seal. But it is nowhere near as good of a seal as I'm generally getting with the standard headset mount. So for a entry-level helmet setup with the Unity tactical mounts, kind of looks like you're an alien with little antennas sticking out of your head, but it works well. And for $40 with Earpro, minus the crappy wire that's way too short, you have a setup where you can run your helmet and you can run your Earpro on it and not have any issues with that. Obviously, in this configuration, again, you can lift your Earpro up and back and run your Earpro on the back of the helmet. But again, I'm going to tell you guys that it is kind of sketchy in doing that. It feels like it's going to pop off every 2 seconds, and I definitely think the mounts out there that just kind of flip up into place are going to work a little bit better. My head came in right at 23.5 inches around, and Hard-Headed Veterans on their website, they have a little measuring chart, and that puts it right in the beginning of the large category. So the large is like 23.5 to 25 or somewhere along that line. So with that being said, I use the small pads all the way around the inside, and I have no issues with movement or anything like that. It's not super wiggly on top of my head, and once the strap is clicked into place, I have a really good retention side to side, and I don't have any issues with that at all. So for fitment, just so you guys know, that is probably what you're going to be looking at in regards to sizing on Hard-Headed Veterans website. Ultimately, with the Unity tactical mounts running you about 80 bucks with shipping, with the Earpro running you about 40 bucks if you want to go with this option, or you just run earbuds and call it a day with none of this or earplugs or whatever, this helmet setup is coming in for me right at around 650 bucks. That is not cheap to just get a helmet to run night vision on. But I would say that this is going to be your first step into getting into the night vision world. Do you get your PVS 14 first, or do you get your helmet first? That's going to be a decision that you have to make. I think ultimately a lot of guys out there and girls are going to be getting a ballistic helmet and just calling it a day. And with those, you could probably get those a little bit before you could get this because of the price point. When it comes to the PVS-14, you're generally getting into a good Generation 3 PVS-14 at a little bit over $3,000, coming in at around $3,100. For this price point, it makes it unavailable for most people out there. There are a lot of people that make some really good points where you could have one solid rifle, sell a couple of your other rifles, and get a really good PVS-14. My argument to this is you really have to think about your practical use of a PVS-14. Is it going to be good to get training at night? Yes, for sure. But the big question that you have to ask yourself is, do you have a place to shoot at night? Do you have classes that you can take at night? Is there practice that you can actually utilize at night with your PVS-14? If those answers to any of those things are no, you might want to rethink getting your PVS-14. For a lot of hunters out there, PVS-14s are going to be incredibly practical, mainly for predator protection. There are many people out there that use PVS-14s every single night on their farm for predator control in their area. And that is a big deal. That allows you to see at night effectively. You can paint targets with an IR laser and everything like that. And you can get super practical use out of a PVS-14. For the average everyday person that does not own a farm, doesn't have access to a farm at night, and everything like that, you might not see as much practical uses for PVS-14s. As far as putting it on for home defense, I think the reality of you having time to actually get kitted up with a PVS-14 and have the prior training behind a PVS-14 to operate that under a high-stress situation, turn it on, utilize that room to room, possibly going from an incredibly dark room to an incredibly bright room if you open on a light switch or something like that, are super slim to none, I'll be honest with you. So I think the people out there that are saying, hey, get a PVS-14 for home defense, I don't know. Maybe these folks are going to have more time to get ready once your door splinters in, but in my eyes, you got to be ready to go out of bed, grab your rifle, grab your shotgun, grab your pistol, whatever, and be on your way. Most people have not even had the time to put on a plate carrier, let alone put on a helmet or get your night vision set up and have all that next to your bed. Now, if you live on a very large property and you hear your animals going crazy at night because you have a coyote or something like that lurking around your farm and eating your chickens or whatever else, then yes, maybe you might have enough time to put on your PVS-14 and go to work at an animal that is, pretty far away. So it all really depends what your practical use is going to be. Now, in a shit hits the fan situation, sure, there's a lot of practical uses for being able to see at night. But again, you really have to think about what are those practical uses really going to be. Are you in a team environment where you're going house to house, or you're going, clearing something and you need to do that at night? Sure, you might get in that situation in an SHTF role. But with that being said, I think it's pretty rare that you would even use night vision in those conditions. I think it is still a really good idea to train and practice and at least see what it's like to shoot under night vision. And there's many classes out there that actually allow you to use rentals for night vision training with those classes. I think that's awesome because it gives the common man the ability to at least see what it's like to shoot under night vision and learn a new skill that many people do not have the ability to do. On top of that, obviously, it's just super fun to be able to turn the lights off and still see exactly what's going on. You can go in your backyard at night, walk the dogs, whatever, LARP around, and be able to see everything in crystal clear format in front of your eyes in the middle of the night. I think that's really cool, and I think that would open up kind of a nerdy cool factor for a lot of people out there. Is it worth $3,100? That's what we're going to see moving forward when this PVS-14 finally gets into the channel and we finally get it in for testing, because I want to know and report back to you guys if it really is as practical as some people make it out to be. I think there are definitely some practical uses to night vision, but I also think it is probably the largest money pit that you can get into in the firearms industry aside from machine guns. I am not exaggerating to that at all. Once you get into night vision, you're immediately looking at a cost of admission for around $4,000 to $5,000 when you're looking at helmet, IR aiming modules, IR illuminators, shooting handguns under night vision, getting set up with night vision on your rifle and really building out a setup that's going to work well, a lot of that easily can amount to $4,000 to $5,000. My argument to that is think about how much ammo, think about how many rifles, good solid rifles, even in 2021 pricing, you could buy at that number. Now, obviously, the counter argument to that is going to be, well, how many rifles do you need in an SHTF situation? Don't you really need one? I mean, I don't know. The ability to arm, a bunch more people if need be, if the situation calls for it, I think is always a pretty solid idea. But you have to be the judge on what you need and what you don't need. I think either way, I'm super excited to get into the PVS 14 world and just see what it's like. But it is going to be a very interesting review for me. So we'll see how that goes. I want to catch up on everybody's comments here. I know this live stream probably won't be as interesting to most of you because a lot of you guys are just not ever going to be interested in night vision, and I was in the same boat as many of you. I would see videos like this pop up about night vision. I'm like, I'm never going to be needing that, so I'm just going to pass it by, and I totally get that, but maybe this video can help some of you guys out. JB, thank you for what you do. I've recently found you on YouTube. The Second Amendment, just like First and others, are all important, and you make it a point to exemplify that on your channel. JB, thank you so much for that comment, man. I really appreciate that. I try very hard to definitely promote that on my channel as much as I possibly can. Sean, finally got in my primary arms optic and mount for the 14.56 ARC. I picked up a primary arms PLX 1-8 Griffin. Waiting on one last part. Nice, man. Very, very good to hear. Tony, what is up, buddy? Good to see you. Walking the dogs and LARPing. Exactly. Rich, yeah, I'll just buy ammo with that money. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. Forget about how many good quality rifles you can buy with the amount of money you're spending on a PVS 14. Think about how much ammo that you could buy. I mean, with $3,100, you could buy enough training ammo for a year. For many people, almost 2 years. So you could also buy classes with that. I mean, you could buy like 10 top tier classes with the amount of money that you're going to be spending on one PVS 14 monocular. So these are all things to consider. And what I would advise you guys is understand where you're at in your skill set, in your skill level. If you're still learning how to just basic shoot your firearms, handgun, pistol, rifle, shotgun, whatever, handgun, pistol, handgun, rifle, shotgun, whatever, I would probably not advise jumping right into night vision and trying to do all of those things in much harder conditions at night when you can't really see what is going on in front of your face. So these are all things that you really want to have your skills down in the beginning, at least your fundamentals, because once you get into shooting at night, you have to remember that your depth perception is completely off. Generally, everything in front of your face is totally blurry, and everything 10 to 15 yards away is clear, and that can really mess you up, especially when you're running around at the range at night and everything like that. So definitely something to consider, and I think it'll be an interesting review regardless to see how it actually works in a real-world format. I might actually have the ability to take some night vision classes with the optic, which should be pretty cool, and hopefully it'll all be in time. So we'll see how that goes, and hopefully, like I said, everything will ship relatively soon. For $3,100, I would go to Tactical Response and take every single one of their classes. Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, I mean, $3,100, and that's like low level, by the way. $3,100 retail for a Gen 3 white phosphorus tube is pretty average. You can see tubes all the way up to $4,000. I mean, they are incredibly expensive for just a monocular. If you're looking to get into 31s, dual tubes, you're easily looking at bare minimum $6,000 to $7,000 just for the tubes themselves. We're not talking about helmets. We're not talking about Earpro. We're not talking about IR aiming devices, IR illuminators, rifle setups. We're not talking about different mounts for the night vision. You're looking at some night vision mounts that are $600 by themselves. Unfortunately, I think a lot of the reason why night vision stuff is so expensive is because it hasn't caught on really in the everyday world. A lot of people out there in the shooting world have never even once thought about night vision. Really, it has been something, if you were like me, that you would watch a video of somebody shooting at night under a PVS-14 and be like, wow, that's super cool, looks pretty badass, I'll never be able to afford that, so I really don't care that much. And that's how a lot of people think. I do think that if more people got into PVS-14s, if more people looked at if they could even afford it, if they couldn't, and more people bought these items, you would see the prices slowly start to decrease as it got more mainstream. Right now, pretty much PVS-14s have always been separated with hunters, law enforcement, military, and that's about it. You rarely see the common everyday person just buying a night vision device to go and plink around at the range. And the more people that do that, you have to remember, the more inexpensive and the more that capitalism is going to kind of take its place, and the prices are going to lower. Now, especially when it comes to mounts for the PVS-14s and for any other night vision optic, you have these companies that essentially only make this stuff for military and law enforcement, and that is it. So when it comes down to pricing, they don't really care what regular Joe Schmo off the street is willing to pay or not willing to pay, because they're making these mounts for billion-dollar contracts. And that is just the price that it's going to be. But if they have a bunch of people out there that start making other mounts that are actually good, affordable mounts for night vision, the price is going to slowly come down, and that's what you're going to see the more that people get into it. Night vision technology, unfortunately, as well, has not come very far since the 60s, when they were still using little starlight scopes, and everything with those scopes was essentially just little blurry green dots, and they really didn't work too well. Night vision in Generation 3 plus tubes really is incredible with how defined everything is, but it's still nowhere near some digital abilities with cameras and different things like that. You've heard this talked about in many other videos, and that is definitely the case. Technology has not come very far when it comes to night vision, and as cool as it is to see in very high definition at night, especially in white phosphorus because everything pops up and is much more clear, it still has a long way to go to be as advanced as many of the other electronics that we use every single day are. So there are, again, really big downsides to night vision, but there also are some positives, and I really want to do a lot of thorough research into the positives of the night vision as well. NVGs are great. It's a huge investment to consider along with other gear you would need with it. Yeah, for sure. Definitely a money pit, 100%. I'd only get night vision if it could be a tax write-off. Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. T-Rex Arms has helped spark the interest in the NVG world. I'll agree with that. I mean, I think, you know, them as a company, they really have done a good job to try to bring a lot of things more in the mainstream, and night vision is definitely one of those. Sean, we'll see you, buddy. Hopefully you have a great dinner. Guys, I'm going to open this up to questions as usual with this live stream, but it might be an early one. I didn't expect this to go on for that long, simply because I know a lot of people out there don't really care about this stuff and are looking at the helmet like, oh, that's cool, but it's a $500 ballistic helmet that nobody really ever needs. So let me know if you have any other questions about this that you want to ask me live or anything else on the channel. And if not, no big deal. We'll have a little bit of an early live stream, which is all okay, man. It's all okay. So let me know what you guys got. I'll give you a few seconds to type it in. If nobody has questions, don't worry about it, and we will end it there. I will keep you guys consistently updated on Instagram and other social media pages on when a little item is coming in to actually fit into this mount. And we will go from there, and it should be a very exciting day when I can finally ski and see at night. Tony, how's the M14 running? The M1A. The M1A is performing actually incredibly well. I know a lot of people out there absolutely despise the M1A platform. I know that it is probably the most hated battle rifle out of the bunch, right? I get it. I get it. The FAL, the arm of the free world, everybody digs it. Everybody digs the G3. Everybody digs the really the AR-10 platform as well above the M1A. And I understand why. I understand it's not the most accurate platform out there for a designated marksman's rifle. I understand that out of the AR-10, the military choosing the M1A back in the day, or the M14, I should say, back in the day, was probably not the best choice. And for a very heavy battle rifle that did not do too well in mud and jungle environments, it was not the best choice back in the day. But I will say that my M1A has never experienced a single malfunction. My M1A has run steel case ammo. Brass case holds about an inch MOA at 100 yards, just resting it off a picnic table. And for me, that is just fine for a DMR setup. I run it with a Sadlac M14 mount, which is the military style mount that the military uses whenever the DMR is used in the M14 platform, and that mount does great. I'm riding a primary arms 4-14 by 44 HUD reticle, first focal plane optic on the top of that gun, and it works great. No issues at all. So, you know, I know a lot of people out there, they hear M1A and they just think, oh, trash, garbage, horrible. And a lot of those people, I've talked to maybe a few who actually have ran them and who have actually had issues. But a lot of the other people that talk about the M1A platform have never shot one, have never ran one, have never experienced any issues personally with one. They will watch a YouTube video trashing them. They will read about it on a forum, or they'll read about it from a buddy who has apparently owned one and it's been terrible. And I don't know. I've heard of a lot of other people that have ran them. I have personally like 6 or 7 other friends who have put even more rounds downrange, far more rounds downrange than I ever have brought the rifles out to 700 and 800 yards, and have raved about the performance of the M1A. So I don't know. There's two sides of that battle. One side despises it, but a lot of the time when I talk to those folks, they've never shot it, they've never tried it, they've never had any physical experience with that rifle in person. And there's a lot of people that have owned it, have shot them, have used them much more than I have, and also have enjoyed them. So I think you're working with about a 50-50. I have seen some where somebody's bought them and they break. They're not good. Whatever, QC was bad. Parts crack, parts break, and that is what it is. I can tell you that I brought the M1A to the range today to test some thermomold magazines for that rifle. Video should be coming soon. The thermomold mags, a little bit of a spoiler alert, suck. I had a malfunction on each and every one of those magazines, so thank you, Thermomold, for not making great mags. But with that being said, they're fine for range mags and they'll work, and that's all right. But with the rifle itself, performed great in really, really crappy conditions today. It was freezing, it was snowing incredibly hard, and that snow was super wet, sticky snow. And if you've ever shot in that before, it gets in every nook and cranny of your rifle, and it really starts drying out and drying up your oil really quick. And grease even starts getting all gummed up with the snow caking in there. And I had no issues still. The stock was getting snowed on. The whole rifle was getting snowed on. Optic getting snowed on all day long. It was outside, and still no issues at all. Running around at the range with it, doing very dynamic drills, up, down, side to side, running over things, running all over the place, and still the rifle performed great. So that's how my M1A is doing. You guys know I run my channel completely unbiased. A lot of people out there have hate on certain guns. I want to find out for myself if I actually don't like the gun or if I like the gun. And I will know when I actually shoot it at the range and see how it performs. If the gun performs bad, and a lot of people say it performs good, then I might have got a lemon, or maybe I'm seeing something that a lot of other people aren't. So I think it's important to not regurgitate just memes, essentially, over and over and over again on information that may or may not be accurate. So remember that, and yes, the M1A is performing pretty good. Sam, what's your rifle setup for night vision going to be? So I am currently, obviously you already know this, but I am currently setting up my 10.5-inch SBR to run under night vision. I think personally, and this is coming from a completely unexperienced person, I've never shot at night, so this is just what I'm assuming. I'm assuming a shorter setup that I can run suppressed is going to be the most ideal. When it comes to night vision, shooting with a flash becomes an issue, so having the suppressor on there is a big deal. Having the 10.5-inch SBR allows me to not worry about having a brace or something like that on the end. I can have a really good, solid stock that helps me running around at night and actually shouldering the rifle without any issues. I can also run a vertical grip, which again coexists really nicely with some IR aiming devices on the front. My plan is to run a super poor boy cheap SIG MSR red dot that has night vision functions, and I'm probably going to have to get a riser to lift up that MSR and see if I can see it even through the night vision. If I can see it and the glass is relatively clear, I might keep that, but I'm also going to get the Streamlight VIR2, so the TLR VIR2, and I'm going to run that on top of the SBR in front of my front sight, and that is going to be my IR laser aiming device and also my IR illuminator. I also have a Streamlight ProTac hanging off the side of the gun for more white light if I need it. The TLR VIR2 has 300 lumens of white light, but on a rifle, you might need a little bit more. So if I do need some white light and I really need to reach out with some white light, then I have the Streamlight ProTac on the side with 625 lumens that I can reach out a little bit easier with some white light if I really need to illuminate whatever it is. So that is my plan setup, but who knows what'll change when I actually start running that under night vision. Buying NVGs, I declare bankruptcy. Michael Scott. Yes, that is 100% accurate when you're buying some NVGs. So we will see. Full disclosure, I would not be able to do this. I mean, I'm sure I probably would have still gone down this rabbit hole at some point, but I would not have been able to go down this rabbit hole this early if ATN wasn't willing to help me out and actually send a PVS-14 my way to check out for a number of days. I will probably end up buying that PVS-14 after the allotted period of testing, but we will see. The only way I won't be buying it is if it does not perform well, but I'm sure it's going to perform pretty good, and I'm going to really like it, and I'm going to want to pick it up, so we will see. Any other questions before I start wrapping up the live stream? I'll give it a couple more minutes before I head out, my friends, before I head out and get ready for more filming and more live streams to come tomorrow. So solid. If you want to check out some shooting footage, some awesome snowy shooting footage from today, you can head over to the Instagram account, and I've been posting some awesome snow time shooting videos that really amp up the difficulty when it comes to training at the range, which I really enjoy. It's a lot of fun. So I am going to wrap up this live stream now. I think everybody's pretty much wrapped up with their questions. This might not be as popular of a live stream, but we'll see. Let me know down in the comment section, as always, if you enjoyed the live stream, if you didn't, what you want to see next, and what you're interested in seeing, and I will always try to make that happen. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Share this video, comment down below, hit the like button, hit subscribe. All that stuff really, really, really helps out my channel, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. As always, have an awesome evening, and stay tuned for more great videos to come soon.